Welcome back to Fender fans, and behind me here I've got a very interesting series truck. It's been getting a lot of interest at the show here. Its owner, Jake, was kind enough to spend a few minutes and tell us all about it. I'll introduce him to you.
So my name's Jake Souch. I'm owner of Browndoor Metalwork. This is my 1957 Series 1 109. I built 4 years ago for more of a business advertisement, green lane vehicle. I wasn't going to off-road it, but I did because we're all children. Yeah, it started as a business advertisement because obviously it's different, and turned out I was going to use it more than I did. Does get used quite a lot for bigger jobs, metalwork jobs.
So you use is that why it's a Trayback, or?
Yeah, well, it was something a bit different. I wanted to get into building Traybacks and modifying vehicles a bit more. So it was just a show of this is what I can do, to see what sort of interest I had from customers. And it sort of spiralled really. I did a few. I've done a 6x6 Cummins conversion Defender, which is here today. Yeah, I mean it got my foot in the door for doing them.
And what sort of metalwork is it that you're specialising in?
I originally was a blacksmith.
Excellent.
That's what I did originally at college. Did 3 years of that. Did better at that than I ever did at school. I did a little bit into it. I fell into a welding job, which paid the bills. It was nothing exciting. It was welding shipping containers, making offices out of them, and there was quite a lot of different things. And I just sort of, the blacksmithing design work, doing other people's design work, so I struggled a little bit. So I sort of fell away from that and went towards welding more. I went from the welding shipping containers to working for Off-Road Armoury for a little bit. Went closer to home for another company, had a little bit of an accident, nearly lost my finger. Decided to go self-employed. That was, well, it's near enough 4 years ago now. Best thing I ever did. And yes, how this come about.
Well, yeah, tell us a little bit about the sort of history of this particular truck and when you got it, and you had quite an exciting trip up to the first show, didn't you?
So yeah, it started as a recovery truck, and it came out of the factory, went straight on trade plates, hence the Q plate on it. Got registered in 84, 85, and then the body was still on it, which is part of the reason why I did what I did, because it wasn't straight and how it was. So yeah, I mean, it was one of those. I built it, I did 3 weeks solid on it after doing weekends and evenings for a little while. I drove it from the workshop to my house at the time on Thursday evening, broke the transfer box on the way home, went back to the workshop, stripped it all, rebuilt it all, finished rebuilding it at about Friday lunchtime, drove it the 170 miles to Peterborough that evening that I finished it. So it was a bit touch and go. There was a breakdown on the M11, I think it was, and the exhaust was coming loose. So I was solid traffic on my back on the M11 doing the exhaust nuts back up, what ones were left on there. So yeah, it was quite an exciting trip up first time. It was, yeah, good rundown trip, that was for sure.
Absolutely. And what sort of plans do you have for the truck moving forward? Do you have any trips planned or modifications planned?
We did Wales in November last year, which we're planning on doing another one, but trying to get everyone in the same place with all their trucks finished at the same time is an absolute nightmare. So yeah, we're planning on going back to Wales. We want to do the Lake District, and we want to do the Lake District, which we haven't done yet. We've done Wales twice now. How things went, articulation isn't amazing, as you can imagine, on original leaf springs. So the plan is to put a locker in it at some point when I have 5 minutes, and find somebody to do it, because it's got a Salisbury axle on the back, so it's not as easy just to send the original diff off, have it all built in and plonk it in and it's all hunky-dory. It's a bit more involved.
It's a bit more involved, yeah.
So that's the plan for that, really. I mean, other than that, I have an 8274 sat in the workshop in pieces. So the plan is to build that up as well at some point and hopefully fit it somewhere in the front. Stresses of my heater.
What motor are you running at the moment, and how's it running?
So I'm running a 300 TDI 2.5 litre diesel, turbo diesel, which runs really well. Has, for the power to weight ratio, is more than decent enough for what I use. I mean, it only weighs 470 kilos, so it's not very heavy at all.
It's about a ton lighter than most trucks, isn't it?
Yeah, for having a bigger engine as well. I went for that engine because it's reliable. They're pretty bulletproof. The electrics are very minimal on them. When I first built it, I put quite a small radiator in it, and everybody was really worried and said that's not going to be enough. That's not going to be enough. But it was brilliant. It was ideal. But I'm not sure. I'm still a bit of head scratching with it, with what I've done. What's gone wrong somewhere, because I've recently replaced the radiator. Built the radiator myself on Sunday of last week. Bought the core, put all the ends on it, and built it all up because I haven't done one before. So why not do my own one first? Done all of that, and it was still getting hot. So Monday I decided to take the head off, check the head gasket, and do all of that. So did all of that in the evenings while I was doing work, chasing deadlines for bringing jobs to the show today for customers. So yeah, I've been doing that in the evening. So there was a lot of late nights. Finished the head gasket on Wednesday, and it's still getting a little bit warm, so I think I'm going to have to sort the radiator out and put a bigger one in there at some point.
But you say it's only running a few degrees over, isn't it?
It's running at about the right temperature. I mean, the weather difference it's incredible how much it does make a difference. With a little bit of rain on the road, it cools it right down. But I mean, it's running at sort of 80 to sort of 98. Whereas they're meant to run at 88 to sort of 95. So I'm not a million miles out, but it is still quite uncomfortable when you're looking at the gauge and it starts moving and it gets so close to the red.
You're on the motorway and
you're outside lane and it's quite hair raising at times, but but no, I mean it's got enough power there. It's just probably my incompetence partly. Putting a smaller radiator, or a small radiator in it, but there we go, we all learn.
The other thing that's important about this truck is its Trayback. Let's have a quick look at that.
Yep.
And Jake, obviously the standout feature, or one of the standout features of this truck, is its Trayback.
So this is it's where it all started, really. It's very early on in my business, obviously creating my own business, creating my own work designs and all the rest of it. This was the start. So it's not perfect. It does more than what it should do. It's had a lot of abuse with me driving it and whatever else. It's very strong. It's done what it should do. It's done more than what it should do, really, because I push it. And
all aluminium.
All aluminium. It's not much because obviously being the first one that I did. Things have evolved a lot in the last 4 years now. I've got bigger machines, I've got my own machines, designs have changed, evolution of products, I suppose. It's pushing ideas, competition with other businesses. We all strive to be the best. that's what business is all about. Customer satisfaction. I mean, it's solid. We've got channel on the sides, hooks for ratchet straps. I originally didn't have these holes in it. I was strapping under here, which was a good feature of having the channel. But I found putting a lot of weight on it, it dropped enough that the tyre, because it's got oversized tyres on it, that it was rubbing the ratchet strap. So I drilled the holes in it. So obviously when it's all loaded up and I've got straps on it,
and it looks nice.
It adds a little bit of something on sides. It's functional.
Because one of the problems with Defenders, Land Rovers generally, but Defenders in particular, is storage. And I see you've got a solution, and you've got one on either side, haven't you?
Yeah, I didn't have them for a long time, and I got fed up with straps in the footwells. Being a single cab, it's got no room in it. It was just a nightmare. So did some boxes, spent a little bit of time, built 2 side boxes for shoes, straps, extra water, whatever you want to put in there. Tow rope, because it's a Land Rover. We all love a tow rope. Need one every now and then. There's more than enough room to put one on the back, but there's enough room in that one and the one on the other side. It doesn't need it. I like it how it is.
Yeah, no, it looks very nice.
I didn't want to overdo it.
Well, it's not an overlander, is it?
No. I have plans for, obviously I've done my Hilux now, so I have got a bit of a plan to do a camper back for one or the other. Being both Traybacks now, it should fit both of them. So the plan is to make it fit both of them, so I can
move it between vehicles.
If I want to go to a show, it's removable. I can put it on and off, put it on a stand, jack it up. They're the most versatile thing you could ever do to a truck or a Land Rover, pickup, Hilux, whatever you've got. I'm quite passionate about them in a weird way, because you could do so much with them. The plan was to sort of keep the wood effect and do some wooden drop sides, but I've never needed them. I've got all the stuff for it, but it's having the time, doing customers' work.
And would you stick with the very nice aged wood look?
It fits. It's old. It didn't look wrong when I first built it, but being clean and nice and new and all freshly painted, it suits it now, I think, because it's weathered a bit more. It's not had the easiest life since I've built it, but I mean it's weathering nice. I didn't want a brand new truck. Yeah. I didn't want it brand new, because otherwise you worry about scratching it and then you can't use it properly and you don't enjoy it as much. So yeah, I mean it's ideal for what I need, really.
And I can just see very nice wheels there. What are those?
Yeah, so they're something I wanted for a long time. Believe it or not, this tyre's only done about 200 miles. The Welsh rocks have completely ruined that one because I got stuck. But it's, yeah, the wheels are Method race wheels. I wanted them for a long time, and I haven't really got anything else to put them on now. Well, they'll fit because they're Land Rover pattern, and it adds a bit of a modern touch. I, as a joke when I first built it, put beadlock wheels on it with some BFG all-terrains, and it fitted in a weird way, so I left them on there. And then I come across these and had a bit of a deal with the guy as a promotional vehicle, and he did me a deal. I promote his product, so it was good for
well,
for
they're
the
a
both
good-looking
of us.
alloy, aren't they?
And they're hard. Wales was hard on the cars, and yeah, they've done really well. I've not managed
one other
to
thing while I look
them
at
yet.
the back here, flat out like a Badger on a bypass. Is that yours or?
I saw it on a vehicle and I thought it was hilarious. So that was, 5 minutes later I'd ordered one on eBay. Badgers love to play with the traffic, so yeah, it's just one of those.
And it doesn't always end well.
And it doesn't like being driven gently, so yeah. It's we're always flat out. We've always got something to do, places to be, people to see. So yeah, it's another added character to it, and yeah, I mean it's a bit of a toy really, and a bit of an ongoing project with silly little things, doing stencils, spray on stencils, and
To be honest, I think probably every Defender's a bit of an ongoing project because there's always something that needs sorting.
yeah, there's always something that needs sorting. There's always something that starts leaking, new dents, scratches, tells stories.
Character.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, look, Jake, thanks very much. It's been a pleasure talking about this really unique truck, and I hope the show goes well, and I hope you get your heating sorted soon.
Yes, I do as well. Nice to talk to you.
All right, cheers, pal.